Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Thursday Night Coaches Show here at Crawfish Warehouse, live on WJLX and on our social media page. Brian Hale, along with the voice of the Vikings, James Phillips, joining me for the first start of the segment. And, James, we had plenty of action last week. This week, not so much, because we're going to take this as a real quick rundown.
Yeah, definitely a quick rundown this week. Go ahead with it, Brian.
Jasper 30, Athens 13. It was Hamilton 48. Curry 21, Oakman 62, Hanceville 13, Bonmont 38, Carbon Hill 6, Fultondale 29, Dora 14, Good Hope 34, Cordova 6, Addison 46, Hackleburg 16, Cold Springs 44, Winston County 18, Meek 64, Waterloo 6, and Lynn picked up that forfeit win. Unfortunately, we also found out over the course of the past couple of days, Seminary Christian's not even playing JV anymore, so their program is effectively shuttered at least until next year.
Right, yeah. Rough week for our local teams last week, and then this week, not a very large schedule at all. We got a lot of teams who are off and a few teams playing each other.
Yeah, this is kind of that mid-season break almost, kind of like that they have in other sports. We just have 2 games this week, which over on the flagship that's also simulcasting on WJBE, it's going to be Dora at Jasper, and of course, both of those teams, you don't need to be said. This is a long-time rivalry we're looking forward to.
Oh, definitely so. It's always fun for Dora and Jasper to play each other. No matter what the records are, they're both going to come out there and they're going to give it everything that they've got. Dora's struggling so far to start the season off. I hate to even say that. That's my school.
You're a Bulldog.
But and then the voice of the Vikings.
Yeah, you're the voice of the Viking. Yeah.
But Jasper started off with a great season so far and picked up a real signature win last week against Athens. So should be an interesting game. And then I really think the Curry and Winston County game is going to be a close game. And I'm pulling for the Yellow Jackets. They're both Yellow Jackets.
I was about to say.
That's what
that's kind of a misnomer there.
I was just going to see if you were paying attention.
Yeah, I am.
But I'm pulling for the Curry Yellow Jackets. That's who I want to see walk away with the win.
They're both Yellow Jackets. They both have 2-3 records, by the way.
That's right.
Really quickly, our county player of the week, Tyler Thomas, for Oakman, 13 carries for 289 yards and 4 touchdowns. He's just been blinding, James. This is his second one.
I've said this a couple times throughout the year. When you see a film of him, it is like a man playing on a toy ball field because he's so much larger than everybody else. He's faster than everybody else. And, I mean, he just looks like an NFL player out there playing against toy ball players and just an incredible athlete. And he's even played sick this year. I mean, sick and injured, and then also only played halves in 2 games where he got like 200 yards.
Well, that's exactly right. And by the way, it kind of reminds me a lot of Derrick Henry running against Kentucky and Vandy sometimes. So.
Yeah, that's true.
But coming up after the break, we'll have Dora head coach Chavis Williams and also Coach Branson Davis with him. So please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Wrong one, sorry.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Crawfish Warehouse. We're live here as we are on every Thursday night, WJLX. And right now, joining us, the head coach of the Dora Bulldogs, Chavis Williams, and also with him, Coach Davis, defensive coordinator. Guys, great to have y'all on this year. It's been a little bit of a kind of a wild year in a lot of different respects. I know one thing that we're all seeing across the entire state and almost nation, participation is so down in football. We've never seen these numbers. Coach, how have you been dealing with it this year?
You know, it's been up and down, but you know the guys that are still out there competing and fighting every day. Got a lot of respect for them. But sticking it out when things ain't going well, you know, when you're down in that valley, people disappear on you, and we just keep reminding them that hard work's going to pay off. We don't know exactly when, but our job is to keep pushing and just keep competing at a high level and just flip this thing around.
No, I've seen Jacoby, his name in the statistics a lot. Talk about some of the leaders that have emerged in this young team this year.
Well, you know, this is a unique year because at this point we will have what I consider leaders. But, you know, these guys have, over the past few years, have kind of, you know, seen older guys play in front of them. And when it really came time for them to step up for the role, maybe we wasn't ready for that at the time. But we're growing, and some of our juniors are stepping up here lately of trying to be leaders. And the senior class is small, but a lot of those guys that do play have played a lot of football, and Jacoby one of those that just leads by example, not really a vocal leader, just by how he plays and how he carries himself every day. He's a warrior. He carried the ball 43 times last week.
Wow.
Probably 22 minutes for him, but he no complaints out of him at all. And as Coach Davis, you know Jacoby, he's just a humble kid that just works really hard every day. So leadership, we're still working on that, and I think that's kind of why we're in the situation we're in now, and we're going to grow from that.
Coach Davis, this is our first time meeting you. Give us a little bit of your background, where you're from and where you went to school at and college.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Sweetwater, Alabama, which is down south, not real close to here. But I went to Auburn. That's where I did my college and kind of got into football there, got into some college football, and kind of went that route at first. Had some brief stops at Sanford and West Alabama as a GA, and then I was at UAB for 2 years. I actually worked for Coach Reeves for 2 years.
Wow.
So me and him know each other real well. So I was with him his last 2 years at UAB, and then I actually went out to Arkansas and coached up there for a year, and then came back to high school, kind of felt this was more what I was called to, more what I was led to do. Coached at Southside and Gadsden last year, was DC up there, and then got to know Coach Williams and Coach Jones, our offense coordinator. He worked with me at UAB, and they kind of encouraged me to come, and I knew they were good people and it'd be a good time here, so I'm glad to be here. But that's kind of how I got here.
Okay, now I'm just interested. You're an Auburn guy. Do you know that this is one of Coach Saban's first ever signees? So that's kind of interesting. How does that work out?
Yeah, I know. I try to keep my Auburn fandom down as much as possible. You know, wear my Dora shirts and some non-brand shirts to school. Whenever he sees me in an Auburn shirt, he always makes a comment, things like that. He told me this week, make sure I don't put in any calls that say Auburn or Tigers or War Eagle, anything like that. He's like, I ain't doing none of that. So I try to avoid anything like that, but we make it work.
You know, I know it's a little bit branching off subject, but Coach, is it just weird that I still can't believe that Saban's not, you know, on some kind of press conferences every day and talking about practice? He was there for forever, and it's hard to imagine that he's still gone.
Yeah, it's kind of different, and I think he's enjoying this new role, especially with all what's into college football nowadays, and it would not be out of question. It would not be so far-fetched that he'll come back one day, but yes, it is. It's different. Even going down there visiting, it's different. You can feel his presence not there. You know, you can see it with the team, but I think Coach DeBoer, with the time given, is going to do a good job too. But I'm a Coach Saban fan, number one, always, so I'm never going to think it's going to be the same because he's not there.
Well,
still Roll Tide, but.
Oh, yeah, Roll Tide. Let me just ask you this much. You've got a lot of great things going on at Dora, brand new schools coming up. I know some of the facilities have recently been up there. Look great. Talk about some of the things that are going on all around your program, athletics and school-wise.
Well, the school is a big deal. It's been needed in East Walker County for a while now. Building's outdated. You want growth, so a new building coming in to have a sense. The kids and parents and community can have a sense of pride about the new building, and maybe they can bring some new pride into the area, which can trickle down into athletics and education first. But it's long overdue, and it's kind of been a hassle with parking on football games. But we've adjusted, and I think Ms. Abner and the community and board members and everything came up with a great plan. We actually shuttle people over for home games and use the practice field to park on the band. It's there taking up parking and have people out there working. So it's a group effort that we can make good out of a bad situation. And, everybody's coming to see the show on Friday nights. We've come up short at home. We're 0-3 at home this year. So we're trying to get that turned around. But I think great planning by those higher ups, starting with the superintendent, Dr. Willingham, has made a bad situation be pretty good.
Yeah, James, you're the resident Dora Bulldog. I'm going to let you aim a question. What you got, bud?
Well, Chavis, talk about this rivalry with Jasper and how important, there's been years where it didn't take place and then it comes back. But it's a super important game for Dora folks. And when Dora can come up and upset Jasper, it's always a huge win. And there's crazy stuff that happens in this rivalry. Just talk about it some and what it means to folks over there in East Walker County.
You hit the nail on the head. It's one of those games that I guess if you look on paper, Jasper's supposed to win because you made the come in and say upset, when we beat them, because they ain't no good. That's what we've been talking about. I'm joking, but, got a lot of respect for Jasper, for the city, for Coach Reeves, for the administration at the school. These guys grow up playing from 5 and 6 all the way up against each other. So, familiarity with each other, and just the two communities are sports-minded communities that, we're the smaller school, but we don't think we're small, and they're the bigger school. But it comes down to the play on the field, and, this year is no different than any other. You just got to go into the game, who can control their emotions better, who can get off to a fast start, which I've been impressed with looking at them on film. They line up in multiple things on offense, and defense present some challenges. And, we know our limitations on what we're doing right now. Throwing the football has been a problem. We're going on 2 years now, and it's nobody's fault. We just got to adjust and try to put our kids in the best position that we seem fit to win a football game. But, it's a rivalry. We need to win a couple more for it to be a bigger rivalry, but
right.
It's a rivalry.
I looked, and I think the history of the rivalry, it's maybe it was 42-12 in Jasper's advantage, something like that. And that seems about right just in my history of being around for that long. It's a fun game always, no matter what. No matter the records, no matter anything else, it's always fun to get those two communities together. Everybody shows up to support the team no matter what. And I can't wait to see Friday night when y'all hit the field.
It's county versus city.
Right.
Nobody else plays this week around, I don't believe. And we just got to bring our A game and see what happens from there. Now, don't be so scoreboard resort-oriented. Just compete in the game. And that's what we tell our guys. Just break it down into just playing hard in your box every play, and the outcome will be the outcome.
Right. Well, and, a lot of people have been asking me this year, what's going on at Dora? What's up with Dora? But Dora's one of those programs where we go through cycles, and it just seems like it's one of those cycles right now. And Jasper goes through those cycles too. They were 1-9 a couple of years ago. It's a fast thing that you can bounce back sometimes. But I've heard that there's a lot of young guys at Dora and at Summerton that are really going to be coming up in the next couple of years. It sounds like there's definitely a bright future ahead.
Yes, sir. And no disrespect to what people's opinion are. The only people's opinion that matters to me is those that's inside that field house every day. And I know what these kids are capable of. They're being coached up really well. It don't show at times because, you got experience. You can't teach experience. But it will end up flipping around. And, that's coaching to me. It'll be easy to walk out every year and just say, I got the fastest kids, I got the kids that jump the highest, I got the kids that's older. But for the respect I have for the profession of coaching is, anything can be changed with effort from everybody involved. And we just respect coaching that much that we're just going to accept any challenge through our way, not being cocky or anything, but it's just part of it. We're just in a rough patch right now, and we just need some success to go our way, and it starts with how we attack every day. And if my players listening right now, we preach this message to them all the time. Just try to win every day and attack it, and have the discipline to execute day in and day out.
Well, in the grand scheme of things, it is just high school football, but you guys are teaching lessons that are going to affect them for the rest of their lives. And a lot of times you learn a lot of lessons in these downtimes that will better affect you later in life when you hit a downtime than in those good times. So, I think these kids are learning what they need to learn right now, and you guys are not giving up on them, and they're not giving up on you.
And no doubt, these coaches here keep me going. We have our meetings behind the scenes on Sunday. We all in there, down and out. But after the result on Friday, but come Sunday when we all come together again, we're rejuvenated, ready to take the next challenge. And you're right. It's bad right now if you want to look at it as far as record-wise, but I still see a lot of fight in these boys, and I think you'll see them tomorrow night and weeks coming up that they still got a lot of fight in them, and at the end of the year, we'll look back and see what the whole body of work was done throughout the season. We're not going to go through 5 games with first 5 games of the season, then go our way on the scoreboard, but we'll look at it 5 weeks from there and see where we're at.
Right.
Well, Coach Davis, I wanted to bring you back into it real quick. Let me just ask you, I love to ask any kind of assistants or coordinators about this because you guys are kind of that front line of the development of the players. But when you're assessing your players, who's going to be in the starting roles or who really needs the leadership, what do you typically look for? Is it quick, really quick adaptation to stuff? Is it hard work ethic? What's your personal idea?
Yeah, I think you look for a lot of different things, and the beautiful part about high school football is it comes in all shapes and sizes. You got kids that are real fast, that are small. You got kids that are big. You got kids that are medium-sized, and they just do everything okay. So that's one thing I love about high school football is kind of fitting all the puzzle pieces together. I think across the board, though, what you're looking for is you're looking for kids that are tough, kids that'll show up every day and do what they're supposed to do no matter the circumstance, because those are the kids that you can rely on. At the end of the day, we're talking about 13, 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old kids, So if you can find a 15-year-old that you can rely on, you probably have something pretty special there. Mm-hmm. So you look for tough kids. You look for kids that do things the right way, that win every day. I tell them all the time, I'll say, just for example this week, you don't beat Jasper on Friday night. You beat them on Monday morning. You beat them on Tuesday afternoon. You beat them on Wednesday afternoon, So kids that can kind of comprehend that and grasp that, hey, we don't only just show up on Friday night. We show up on Wednesday afternoon. We show up on Thursday morning, things like that. And kids that just can handle that mentally, I think, really puts them over the top. And then kids that just enjoy the game, because if you're tough and you work hard and you enjoy the game, you're probably going to be a pretty good football player. People have their limitations, but probably 9 times out of 10, if you're a guy who loves the game, you're a guy that's real tough, you can find your way on the football field. And that's what makes football so great is you can be real big and play, you can be real small and play. There's all sorts of different people on the field. So I don't know. I don't think if there's anything physically, any one thing that I would say I look for. You'd love to see everybody look like Coach Williams. If you see Coach Williams in a uniform, you'd be like, yeah, I think that's one of the kids that I'm gonna like. But I think you look for those intangibles, because if you can find that, then you can kind of make it work no matter what their skill set is.
I guess also when I look at things, you just mentioned loves the game. That's got to bring a different level of positivity that's infectious. How important are those kids, especially during struggle times, that love the game and they're out there to enjoy, the whole atmosphere?
Oh yeah, that's crucial. At the end of the day, it is a game, and you play it for fun. Nobody's forcing kids to come out there and play, So, and it's fun for us, like Coach said, man. We love coaching, we love being around. we got a pretty young staff, and it's fun for us. And to have players that also reflect that attitude and reflect that fun, you know, even if it's tough, even if it's hot. I think it was Tuesday afternoon this week. It was pretty hot out there. But when you got kids that love the game, you know, you can fly around, you can have a good time with them. You know, kind of the hard part of football becomes also part of the fun part, you know. And I think that's the kids that really love the game really understand that, you know, this is hard in the moment. But when we look back on this in 6 months, a year, 2 years, we're going to look back at this as the most fun moments. You know what I mean? Like when you talk about summer workouts or conditioning, things like that. Oh, it's tough in the moment. But, man, when I look back on my high school career, when everybody looks back on high school, you know, those are the times that you're like, man, you remember how fun that was, you know, when coach would make us bear crawl and get on each other's backs. You know, that's what kind of builds the team. So, yeah, when a kid just is all about that, you know, and loves football and loves all those aspects, it makes me happy. You know, it brings a lot of joy to me, and I think it can bring along those kids that maybe they haven't understood that that's going to be good in the future yet, you know. So that's really good for your team when you can get somebody like that.
Excellent. Well, Coach Williams, Coach David, we absolutely loved having y'all on. Best of luck tomorrow night. We will see y'all at Cairo at 7 o'clock for kickoff.
Hey, thanks for having us on.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Coach.
And everything you do to promote high school football.
We're going to start to segue out here in just a moment, and then next up, JP will be back with the Coach Reeves show, and he'll be bringing in a guest also. So we'll take a short break, and we'll be back right after this.
We are back here at Crawfish Warehouse. James Phillips here for the David Reeves Show. And Coach Reeves, good to see you after a big win on Friday night.
Yeah, glad to be here, man. Appreciate y'all having us.
I know you got to be proud of that win, even though it wasn't perfect, and they never are perfect. But just to get away with a win from Athens after the game last year, and how much it means to beat a program like that.
Yeah, it was one of those games that doesn't come down to who's stronger or who runs faster or who does this. I mean, it really came down to how hard our guys were going to play, and I would have been good at the end of it. I thought we went out there and laid our guts out there in that game, and so I was going to be happy no matter what scoreboard said. I was really proud of the kids, really proud of the coaches. I thought we had a great game plan in all three phases, and I thought our coaches did a great job getting the guys ready to play, and our players did a good job at coming out there and trying to execute. You mentioned it. I mean, I know a lot of those coaches at Athens. I know the tradition at Athens. I coached at Athens. And anytime you can notch a win against a quality program like that, you're going to be happy.
Yeah, and that puts you in a good spot too. Just as far as region standings go right now, halfway through the year, you're in a good spot at least.
Well, all I'm thinking about is Dora. That's all we've been talking about. We haven't been talking about region play. We've been, it's just next team on schedule.
Right.
And that's who we want to focus on, and who we're trying to be, not looking off down here. It's staying right in this moment, and this moment is going to be against Dora tomorrow night at our house. So.
And I bet there's not a team on the schedule that would like to beat you guys more than Dora.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a fun game. I mean, I think I heard y'all in the last segment talking about it. I mean, I know Chavo, I've known him for a long time. I mean, Branson worked with us. Coach Davis at UAB, he was our analyst on the defensive side, and man, just a jack of all trades out there coaching and whatnot. And then, we called him Ricky, but McClendon, their offensive coordinator, was with us at UAB as well. So it's a quality staff. It's a game that's right down the road, and one that we're excited about playing.
For me, it's a weird game always because I'm a Dora graduate. And my wife's sitting over there in a Dora football jersey right now. and
that's what makes it fun.
Yeah, it does.
That's what makes it fun. I mean, all of the relationships, the kids and parents go to church with each other, and hang out and all that stuff. And so it's always great when two good communities, get together like that and have a sporting event. So we're excited.
I hadn't had you introduce your assistant coach.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, this is Garrett Stacks. I mean, he's starting his second year with us. Coach Stacks works with the defensive line, works with special teams, and really a jack of all trades for us. Kind of plugs in where needed, but those are his two specialties, and we're lucky to have him.
Coach Stacks, your defensive line was our players of the week this week. We gave it to all three of the starters. And those guys have really stepped up every game so far this season, and they're getting after the football.
Yes, sir, they are. We've got two seniors that really take the lead in the room. 55, Mal Henderson, and 50, Carter Livingston. They both play the same position, so they're battling for reps every day. But it doesn't affect them as far as personally. Their goal is to be the best for the team.
Yeah. Well, those guys have really played well. And then you also have, is it Grant Bailey that moves over to the line sometimes?
Yes, sir.
And he's made an impact in every game, really, in some short yardage situations.
Yeah, he has. He's in our heavy package, which obviously looking at him, he belongs there.
Right. Yeah.
He's a really good player. He's a really good kid, and it's really cool to be able to coach him.
Now, one thing I've noticed so far in every game, it seems like we've had goal line stands, even as far back as the Jamboree. It seems like those guys are getting tested every week, and I really think they're answering that test, it seems.
They are. Our defense coordinator, Coach Good, he loves to preach, bend, don't break. Whenever we can get a stop and get off the field, we've really answered the bell on it, and I'm really proud of them for it.
Now, what's your philosophy as far as defense goes?
Get after it.
That's what I figured. Yeah. And I know that's what Coach Reeves' philosophy is for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just turn it over to these guys. They do such a fantastic job. I mean, all of our coaches do a great job at getting our guys ready. I mean, personally, I'd rather not see them get down there. I enjoy the stops.
Right.
I enjoy the stops. We've got to learn to defensively to quit hurting ourselves, and the other night they had a drive, that was aided by a questionable pass interference call, and then, a couple of gap jumps, and then they're down there. But you know what? They rose. I mean, it don't count for points until they cross the goal line, and that's something we talk about is just keep playing, put the ball down, and play the next play, and I think our guys are really figuring that out.
Well, and it seems like the secondary has played really well too, and that probably helps that defensive line out. They seems like they're getting more pressure because there's a lot of great coverage out there.
Well, it all fits together.
Yeah.
I mean, every spot out there. That's one thing that we stress every day is we can have 10 guys pulling their weight, and if one guy isn't handling details and taking care of their job, and whatever that job, however small it may seem, it takes all 11 guys, and that's something that we talk about. It's something that we get to show on tape when we don't do that. And as we mature, you see more and more guys stepping up and handling their business as young men. And so that's always positive. I mean, that's the growth we're looking for because we know if we're growing like that on the football field, then we're growing as young men as well. So it's really exciting.
On the offensive side of the football, you guys really just continue to run the ball really well and throw it when you wanted to, and everything seemed pretty balanced and just rolled up points again.
Yeah, and it's hard to point at one guy.
Right.
I mean, the offensive line is doing a phenomenal job. I mean, we were down a starter last week, and somebody next man up, kind of next guy up mentality, and Cody came in and filled in and played a great game, and then you look back there at running back, and we've got 3 running backs that we love a lot, and Mekhi Pledger, Zon Koger, and C.J. Vincent, are all very talented players. We got a couple of good quarterbacks, and they keep stepping up and making plays. Lincoln gets better with each passing day. And then, there's about 6 guys outside that, they need to touch the ball.
Right, because you don't have any one receiver that's really tearing up stats. You got a bunch of guys that are catching the football.
Yeah, no doubt. And, it's exciting. It's exciting, for our coaches. And this guy's getting this kind of coverage, this guy steps up. They're sitting on Lincoln, then the running backs get off. They're sitting on the running backs, then the quarterback. And it's just been an all-round team effort, in all 3 phases of the football game, and that's what it takes.
And it seems like that Smothers Brothers connection is coming in a little more, too, each week.
Yeah, I tell you, I know that's got to be a big deal to those guys and a big deal to Coach Shane Smothers and Coach Logan Smothers, the older brother. I mean, how exciting is that just to look out there and it's family, and something they've been doing in the backyard, since they were little kids, and now to get to come on a bigger stage and do it together. I mean, that's got to be really awesome.
Yeah, I joked around on the call of the touchdown from the brother to the brother of how many Smothers did that call go through, because we got 2 on the sideline, 2 in the game.
I know.
I didn't know if Mom maybe phoned it in.
Well, you know what? She's a good one, too. I mean, Shane definitely outpunned his coverage right there, and so but, it's fun. It's fun when guys step up. It's fun when guys take their job. Maybe they just play 2 special teams. Maybe they come in on heavy goal line. Maybe they come in on this package on offense. But regardless, what their job is, they take it serious and try and be detail-oriented as they execute it. So it's fun. I mean, the kids are fun. I love the kids. I love the coaches. I mean, it's a lot of fun.
One guy you bring up that is doing certain jobs is Koger. Like everybody knows him as a running back in the backfield, but he's a gunner on the special teams unit, and he's getting tackles like crazy.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal. I mean, Zon, ever since, now he's battle tested. I mean, you look out there and you think, man, that guy's been playing here 10 years.
Right. He's just a sophomore.
But he's just a sophomore, and he's battle tested, though. I mean, he fought through a lot of stuff and was putting a lot of adverse situations as an 8th grader, having to go out there on Friday nights and play for us, and you know, and it shows. But he understands how the game's supposed to be played. You know, and he goes hard every single snap on offense, defense, and special teams, and we've got several guys doing that.
And then on special teams, we hadn't really mentioned them much, but they've played really well too. Oliver might have had a little bit of an off game the other night, missing a couple of field goals. I talked to his dad today. I actually saw him at his office, and he said the mental aspect of it after the Coleman game was something that he really needed to go through.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, he's going to grow. I mean, he's going to grow. He's going to go through a maturing, you know, he's already such a mature young player. But from a football standpoint, you know, he's going to go through those ups and downs. And you know, we had a bunch of guys that you know, didn't make the play they were supposed to on both sides of the ball. But, boy, he's under a microscope when he goes out there and gets it. And that's just part that goes along with that job, you know. And we think he's outstanding now and think he's just going to get better and better as he continues to grow and get stronger and mature. And we're lucky to have him on our football team.
Definitely so. Well, Coach, I think it's a good time to take a break, and we'll come back and we'll talk more specifically about the Dora game coming up tomorrow night at Cairo.
Sounds great. We're excited.
We'll take a break here on the Coach David Reeves Show, and we'll be right back on WJLX. All right, and we're back here on the Coach David Reeves Show from Crawfish Warehouse. Coach Reeves and
Coach Stacks.
Coach Stacks has joined us tonight and getting ready to play the Dora Bulldogs in a big cross-county rivalry.
Right.
I know Dora's coming in struggling on the season so far, and a lot of times that's what people are going to talk about. You know, they're 0-5, you guys are 5-0, but
well, that don't mean anything to us. I mean,
right.
I saw the tape. I mean, they've got multiple players that are very talented. You know, I'll talk. You know, defensively, I you know, just they've got guys running around in every spot. I mean, I know they're sound because I know Branson. You know, and I know the kind of job Chavis does on defense. I mean, you know, that's two. I didn't even count the rest of their staff. That's just the two I know personally do a really good job. I mean, really physical. I mean, they've got good size. I mean, I've gotten caught up in that whirlwind before when, you know, you think you get this hole fixed and then one bust over here with an injury or something. You try and plug it and then something happens here and you know, they'll right that ship. You know, they will, and they do a great job. And we've got all the respect in the world for their football team and for their, you know, for their coaching staff. And so, you know, we know it's going to be a huge challenge for us offensively to come in and execute. We're going to have to execute at a high level. I mean, you know, last year, you know, they made some big plays, you you know, and really had us reeling a few times. And, you know, our guys just stayed the course. So we know our work's cut out for us, and we're going to be ready to go offensively.
Now, has anybody told you that it's a whiteout tomorrow night?
Yes, I think I heard him talk. I think I heard him talking about that.
I didn't think you were the one that came up with the gimmicks each week or anything, but I did see that. And it's student night, so they're hoping to see a ton of students at the games.
Yeah.
Students get in free with a paid adult, so that's good to see.
Exciting. Should be a great atmosphere. You know, I guess it's a whiteout. Y'all know more about that than me. You know, we're gonna wear white pants.
There you go.
You know, so we're gonna, you know, that's you know, we're going to wear our black jerseys. I mean, that's what we go to work in, in our stadium, you know, and that's what we're going to put on tomorrow night as our work clothes, because we're looking for a very physical, you know, challenging football game. We're going to have to play. I mean, you know, and so there's no gimmicks on us. I mean, we're going to line up and get ready to play.
Now, where are the areas that you guys need to improve on?
Well, you know, we're going to have to find a way to get off the field on third down defensively. Just too many times this year we've made the play and you know, gave a guy a little extra tug, you know, or had the right call and just didn't execute it, you know, offensively. We got to improve in the red area, you know, in the red zone. I mean, you know, Oliver's a weapon, but I want him to be kicking extra points, not field goals. You know, we need to find a way to punch that thing on in. You know, special teams, you know, I mean, I know Coach Smothers is never going to be happy. I think we've been really good in some, and we've been really solid in them all, you know, but that's not what he's pulling for. He's pulling for greatness. So there's a ton of places we can improve, you know, in all aspects. So, you know, there's always work to be done. The job doesn't change, win or lose. You know, we're going to show up and try and get better.
Coach Stacks, what does their offense present to you guys?
Well, you know, the offense they run, it's really physical. They're going to line up and they're going to run right at you. And I've known Coach Williams for a long time, and I know he's preaching toughness to them, and that's how they play. They're going to run it right at you, and it's our job to stop it.
Well, and I don't want to give any suggestions to Chavis, but right at you has been where you guys have kind of struggled a little bit in some of the games. You've had people running right at you right in the middle of that line and getting some yardage at times, or at least that's what I've noticed during most of the games.
Yeah, we got to fix that. I mean, you know, it's we just got to fix that.
Yeah.
Yeah, got to fix that.
And I didn't think I was sharing anything that people wouldn't have seen on film.
No, I mean, I know, but if they seen that on film, they're looking at a different thing than I'm looking at. So, you know, we got to improve in the run defense. We got to improve in pass defense. We got to improve. I mean, that's just who we are. I mean, we've got to get a lot better.
Yeah. Brian, I know you got some things to say.
Well, I want to ask first and foremost, Coach Stacks, I'll ask you this, and then I'll ask Coach Reeves. Through these first 5 games, is there anybody within the defensive line, be it the starters or the backups, that have really surprised you with their performance?
I'll tell you one. He's number 21. His name's Kalen Evans-Harris. He is a junior, and he has really got after it in the weight room this offseason. He's turned into a really good football player and somebody that we can really count on.
So that's somebody to watch in the next year as well.
Absolutely.
Do you think this is going to be a flower that'll sprout?
Yeah.
Well, and like I said, we only have 2 seniors on the defensive line, so we're bringing all of those guys back. Memphis Odom is just a 10th grader. Aiden Franklin's a junior. We still got room to grow across the whole front.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, man, Kalen really has a motor. I mean, you know, and Coach Stacks and Coach Good have done a good job at kind of getting him pointed in the right direction, you know, in his overall game, you know. And I'll tell you one, he mentioned the nose guards earlier, and Colton Sanders is really starting to come on in practice, and you know, we're really tickled with that. But I think Coach Stacks and Coach Good have done a phenomenal job at developing those guys and just watching where they started, you know, from a season and a half ago, moving forward right now to where we are now. A lot of room to improve, you know, obviously, but they're doing a great job at bringing those guys on.
Harris is one of those guys that if you didn't know he was playing on the defensive line, as much as we call his name out, you'd swear he was a linebacker.
Yeah, he's a little undersized, I guess, in the big scheme of things, but his motor really makes up for what some might consider lack of size. I guess, what is he, 220 now?
I'd say so.
Yeah, I'd say about 220. So, he's he's playing really good. Like I said, I can't say enough about the job that Coach Stacks and Coach Good have done at developing those guys and bringing them on and really shining up their overall game for those players. I mean, where you had guys that had high motors, wanted to make plays, loved being around the ball, but then, the difference they made in their hand placement and understanding winning the gap and stuff like that. Coach Stacks and Coach Good have done a phenomenal job with that.
When you guys got younger players, and of course, across the board, anybody who's playing great you love, but when you've got a guy that's a sophomore or junior and they're already paying like they're a senior, how fun is that to discover those kids?
It's great, just knowing that they're performing like this as a 10th grader or an 11th grader, and then they still have room to improve. That's really cool to see. And Coach Reeves, he runs a great program in the weight room, and they're going to get stronger, and they're just going to keep getting better by the time they leave.
I tell you, I think the biggest challenge in that is that kid that does come on at a young age is making sure that they stay challenged and stay focused and keep the work ethic. A lot of times you'll see that younger guy that comes out there just kind of plateau a little bit because they're like, yeah, I've arrived. I was playing as a 10th grader. I was doing this. But, that's where I think our coaching staff, and in particular talking about the D-line right now, Coach Stacks and Coach Good do a great job at challenging those guys on a daily basis and making sure they're at their best.
Well, and you guys on defense get a lot of players in there. They're constantly in and out, and there's even several freshmen that have contributed so far this year.
Yeah, it's high school football is a puzzle. I think you heard Branson maybe mention that earlier, but finding the right combination and where because a lot of times you'll have a kid that's got the ability, but his maturity hadn't reached yet, or you'll have a guy that's got the maturity but needs to get stronger, and so just molding all that together and finding where guys fit in and how they can best help our team while continuing to develop themselves is always a huge challenge.
Well, Coach, tell us, how big is it to get a crowd out tomorrow night at Cairo?
Always great at Cairo. Well, I mean, I can't say enough about our fans, and them showing up and the energy that they bring on the road too. I mean, I've got to brag on them. They traveled on the road, but our kids really feed off of that energy, and hopefully we'll have a big crowd tomorrow night pushing us on through.
Tomorrow's a big day for Jasper Athletics. I had the volleyball coach and a couple players on my show this morning on the radio, and they're playing the number 1 team in the state at home right before the football game.
Yeah, Kelly's going to coach them up, and then they're going to walk over and cheer, and so I can't be there to cheer them on because I know they're doing a phenomenal job, and here's my chance to say go Vikes to the Lady Vikes volleyball team, man. They need to go get it.
That's right. Well, Coach, anything else before we go?
No, Coach Stacks.
I'm good.
Good, man. Just excited about it. Looking forward to tomorrow night. Hopefully we'll have a big crowd out. The weather should be great, so we're looking forward to a huge challenge. Go Vikes.
All right, go Vikes. Thank you guys for coming out tonight.
All right, thank y'all.
Brian,
Appreciate you having us.
Brian, we'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back to wrap up the Walker County Coaches Show and the Coach David Reeves Show here for this week on WJLX. And we're back here at Crawfish Warehouse. James Phillips and Brian Hale. The Coach David Reeves show just ended. And, Brian, thanks for producing during that show tonight. And I did the same favor to you during the County Coaches show.
Yep, and looking forward to tomorrow night because pregame, we're going to have game day just like ESPN does, but it's going to be WJLX game day. Eventually, we're going to figure out what we're going to call this.
Right, yeah. Well, since we do have such a light schedule this week, and I've already talked about that Curry-Winston County game on the air a couple times, but since we have a light schedule, we'll be at Jasper, and you and Zach and everybody will show up before the game and do some pregame stuff on our Facebook page.
Actually, Zach and Scott are going north.
Oh, are they? Okay, so they're not going to come by. Well, we'll have you and Patrick Hanna and Nick Norris there on site, and then afterwards we'll have the scoreboard show as well that we always do, and they're doing a tremendous job
we
on
had a
the
lot
scoreboard
of fun
show
last week, making a nuisance of ourselves.
Yeah, I was glad y'all let me and Rocco come by last week for a little while.
Rocco's welcome anytime. He is cool.
He may show up tomorrow night. You never know with me. I almost brought him to Crawfish Warehouse tonight. Anything special planned for that pregame that we need to know about?
Just tune on in. I think everybody will love it. We've got a really good setup to where the stadium press box is behind us with the stand, so you'll be able to see people filter in and start to fill that up.
That'll be fun. I think it's going to be really cool, and then Woody and I will come in at 6 p.m. on the radio dial and start the pregame there, and then continue on until kickoff at 7, and everybody can tune in on Facebook and YouTube, and I think it's going to be a fun night. Anytime you can get two county schools together, especially when it's a city and county battling each other, it's a lot of fun.
Well, I very, very, very rarely go on the field during a game, so I'm looking forward to getting some action shots and just kind of taking in the action. Doesn't happen that much.
No, it doesn't. But after that, then we've got Alabama on Saturday too, and you'll be in the studio producing Alabama and Georgia. It doesn't get any bigger than that in college football.
Well, there's many a game on Saturday that looks really good. This is kind of a super Saturday. I'm looking forward to it. You got dots that connect all the way from the beginning of the morning all the way until that Bama-Georgia game. A lot of good games.
Yeah, I was looking over the schedule, and I'm going to be kind of out of pocket most of the day until time for the Alabama game. I'm going to be at Fiesta in downtown Birmingham for a New Era Wrestling Lucha Libre show at the Hispanic Heritage Festival, and it's free this year. So anybody wants to come over to Lynn Park and enjoy the Fiesta Hispanic Heritage Festival.
Oh, and by the way, we also want to thank Crawfish Warehouse, who's been sponsoring us. James, you get the good stuff. I always look forward to my burgers, no matter what. It's great all around.
Oh, my goodness. The food here is incredible. It's sitting over there waiting on me, and I can see it. I can see the steam coming off of it. I've got some crawfish and shrimp pasta that I cannot wait to dig into.
Well, I'm ready for my burger, so should we lead it on out?
I think so, Brian. Thanks for joining me tonight. It's good to get together again, and then we'll be back next week at Crawfish Warehouse. Come out and see us here at Crawfish Warehouse. It's a great atmosphere, great place to watch the Thursday night NFL game after we're done with the coaches' shows. So come out, get some good food, enjoy a great environment, enjoy some good fellowship, and see the coaches' shows on WJLX.
Every Thursday.
All right, until next week, I'm James Phillips for Brian Hale. We'll see you tomorrow night at Cairo Gambrell Field.